Hi, blessed beings. Welcome back to Shelter in the Storm with A Course in Miracles lesson number 100. Wow. 100, guys. 100. 100. 100. Okay. Of the text, we're up to part B or section B of part 5 in chapter 6. The Lessons of the Holy Spirit. And section B is about to have peace, teach peace, to learn it. All who believe in separation have a classic fear of retaliation and abandonment. They believe in attack and rejection, so that is what they perceive and teach and learn. These insane ideas are clearly the result of dissociation and projection. What you teach, you are. But it is quite apparent that you can teach wrongly and can therefore teach yourself wrong. Many thought I was attacking them, even though it was apparent I was not. An insane learner learns strange lessons. What you must recognize is that when you do not share a thought system, you are weakening it. And those who believe in it therefore perceive this as an attack on them. This is because everyone identifies himself with his thought system. And every thought system centers on what you believe you are. If the center of the thought system is true, only truth extends from it. But if a lie is at its center, only deception proceeds from it. All good teachers realize that only fundamental change will last, but they do not begin at that level. Strengthening motivation for change is their first and foremost goal. It is also their last and final one. Increasing motivation for change in the learner is all that a teacher need do to guarantee change. Change in motivation is a change of mind, and this will inevitably produce fundamental change because the mind is fundamental. The first step in the reversal or undoing process is the undoing of the getting concept. Accordingly, the Holy Spirit's first lesson was to have, give all to all. I said that this is apt to increase conflict temporarily, and we can clarify this still further now. At this point, the equality of having and being is not yet perceived. Until it is, having appears to be the opposite of giving. Therefore, the first lesson seems to contain a contradiction, since it is being learned by a conflicted mind. This means conflicting motivation, and so the lesson cannot be learned consistently as yet. Further, the mind of the learner projects its own conflict, and thus does not perceive consistency in the minds of others, making him suspicious of their motivation. This is the real reason why, in many respects, the first lesson is the hardest to learn. Still strongly aware of the ego in yourself, and responding primarily to the ego in others, you are being taught to react to both as if what you do believe is not true. Upside down, as always, the ego perceives the first lesson as insane, In fact, this is its only alternative, since the other possibility, which would be much less acceptable to it, would obviously be that it is insane. The ego's judgment, here as always, is predetermined by what it is. The fundamental change will still occur with the change of mind in the thinker. Meanwhile, the increasing clarity of the Holy Spirit's voice makes it impossible for the learner not to listen. For a time, then, he is receiving conflicting messages and accepting both. Okay, we'll leave our text there for today. Let us go to lesson 100. Wow, we're there, guys, we're there. We're just under a third of the way through. Oh, wow. Okay, my part is essential to God's plan for salvation. Just as God's Son completes his Father, so your part in it completes your Father's plan. Salvation must reverse the mad belief in separate thoughts and separate bodies, which lead separate lives and go their separate ways. One function shared by separate minds unites them in one purpose, for each one of them is equally essential to them all. God's will for you is perfect happiness. Why should you choose to go against his will? The part that he has saved for you to take in working out his plan is given you that you might be restored to what he wills. This part is as essential to his plan as to your happiness. Your joy must be complete to let his plan be understood by those to whom he sends you. They will see their function in your shining face and hear God calling to them in your happy laugh. You are indeed essential to God's plan. Without your joy, his joy is incomplete. Without your smile, the world cannot be saved. While you are sad, the light that God himself appointed as the means to save the world is dim and lustreless, and no one laughs because all laughter can but echo yours. You are indeed essential to God's plan. Just as your light increases every light that shines in heaven, so your joy on earth calls to all minds to let their sorrows go and take their place beside you in God's plan. God's messengers are joyous, and their joy heals sorrow and despair. They are the proof that God wills perfect happiness for all who will accept their Father's gifts as theirs. We will not let ourselves be sad today, for if we do, we fail to take the part that is essential to God's plan, as well as to our vision. Sadness is the sign that you would play another part instead of what has been assigned to you by God. Thus do you fail to show the world how great the happiness he wills for you, and so you do not recognize that it is yours. Today, we will attempt to understand joy is our function here. If you are sad, your part is unfulfilled, and all the world is thus deprived of joy along with you. God asks you to be happy, so the world can see how much he loves his Son, and wills no sorrow rises to abate his joy. No fear besets him to disturb his peace. You are God's messenger today. You bring his happiness to all you look upon, his peace to everyone who looks on you and sees his message in your happy face. We will prepare ourselves for today in our 5-minute practice periods by feeling happiness arise in us according to our Father's will and ours. Begin the exercises with the thought today's idea contains. Then realize your part is to be happy. Only this is asked of you, or someone who wants to take his place among God's messengers. Think what this means. You have indeed been wrong in your belief that sacrifice is asked. You but receive according to God's plan, and never lose, or sacrifice, or die. Now let us try to find that joy that proves to us and all the world God's will for us. It is your function that you find it there. It is your function that you find it here, and that you find it now. For this you came. Let this one be the day that you succeed. Let this one be the day that you succeed. Look deep within you, undismayed by all the little thoughts and foolish goals you pass as you ascend to meet the Christ in you. He will be there, and you can reach him now. What could you rather look upon in place of him, who waits that you may look on him? What little thought has power to hold you back? What foolish goal can keep you from success when he who calls to you is God himself? He will be there. You are essential to his plan. You are his messenger today, and you must find what he would have you give. Do not forget the idea for today between your hourly practice periods. It is yourself who calls to you today, and it is him you answer. Every time you tell yourself you are essential to God's plan for the salvation of the world. Lesson 100. My part is essential to God's plan for salvation. Right in the middle. You are blessed beings, indeed. I am that one you know as Jesus. It seems arrogant, does it not, to think you have a part in God's plan for salvation? Who, other than you, can be used among your brothers and sisters on this earthly plane to wake them up and help them see that suffering and sacrifice are not required? You have all been trained in your society to shut down your imagination and turn away if you hear guidance from another consciousness. You close all the doors that we have to help you. You close all the doors that we have to help you wake up. So we employ your brothers and sisters. A being such as this channel is a good example to help wake you up and guide you toward the means you have been given for peace. As each of you awaken to your special talents and gifts, this does not put you above your brothers and sisters. This being is not above you, although she has managed to apply herself enough to her practices to bring about this transformation in her consciousness. She is not above you, and she knows this. She's an ordinary being just like you. All of you have access to increasingly wonderful thoughts, ideas, inspirations, and talents. These are not for your aggrandizement. They are for you to enjoy. They are for you to practice. They are for you to master in your own way. In that mastery, that modest pursuit, you shine a light for others. Perhaps you will play that instrument you have always wanted to play, but would never dedicate yourself to and allow yourself to play. Over the next few years, perhaps you will get good enough to give a few lessons. Perhaps you will inspire children to play music. Perhaps you will be asked to play in an orchestra or choir. Perhaps you will be inspired to go busking on the street to share your talents. Perhaps it is just you and your instrument alone. Then there come words that seem to need music, so you begin to write songs. This is how it unfolds. It is not for you to decide the path for your talent. You will be guided along the way so that you do not become intoxicated with fame or needy of other people's adoration. That is not what it's for. Each of you will be guided to fulfill your purpose. Some may be quite public, and some will be completely private. You selected your purpose in accord with your guides and teachers before this incarnation. You decided what you would offer to this awakening process on your planet. They are all important things. The gardeners and the farmers that nobody sees on TV or on the internet. These people grow your food. They bring you healthy and wholesome meals. Are they less valuable than the famous people? Of course not. And that is something you must reflect on. Your society has contaminated many minds with the idea of fame and wealth as success. And we want you to reassess your idea of success. Living a life of doing what you love, peace and joy with your family and friends, and occasional drop-ins. That is a beautiful thing, indeed. As you get older and tired of playing the ego's games and chasing idols you have chased throughout the years so far, you see that a calm, quiet, and peaceful life doing what you love each day is a wonderful experience, indeed. We want to thank you for sticking with this challenging training program for 100 days. Well done to all of you who have made it this far. You already feel the changes in your heart and mind. You already know that something great is happening within you. Do not despair. Do not give up, and do not feel overwhelmed. You are on the right track. You are saving yourself years and years of struggle. I am that one you know as Jesus, and we will speak to you again tomorrow. Namaste, blessed ones.